Hi everyone, welcome back to Study Knits. My name is Allie and I'm a fourth year med student and I live in New York, which is crazy. This is my channel where I talk incessantly about knitting. If you've been following along for at least the past year, I haven't lived anywhere for the past year, so it's very exciting for me to say in the intro that I live somewhere permanently. So we just moved to New York like last week. We're settling in nicely. I am recording on my bed. I feel like this is the best lighting setup currently, so I usually don't like it when you can see my bed in the background when I'm recording, but like it is what it is for now. So while we unpack, this is the setup that I'm working with now. Today it's just going to be a fun knit and chat Q&A to, I guess, to celebrate my 1 year YouTube anniversary. I've been on YouTube for, I think last April was my first, so like 14 months. Just a little over a year. I missed my anniversary, sorry. And yeah, it's been a really fun, exciting year in life and then on YouTube. I've had so much fun doing this. I hope to continue this once I start residency. I don't know how frequently I'll be able to post, but I've really enjoyed this. And I'm glad you guys have also enjoyed it. So it's a win-win. I had people submit questions. Okay, yeah, I have them all on my iPad. So sorry for looking at the iPad. What else? I tried to break them up into like knitting, random personal life, med school, residency, studying, time management, and then I got a couple of New York specific questions, which I'll try to answer, but I've only lived here for a week. And then I thought I would knit while we did this. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see my knitting, because to do that I would have to lower the angle, and then it was just like a weird thing and it wasn't a priority, but I'm in the middle of a row. Silly me. This is my sole top by Mochi Knits in Surella, I have a prettier one here. Surella Silk Sock in the color Cruel Summer from the Airs Collection Part 2. If you've watched any of my knitting podcasts recently, you know this has been kind of the bane of my existence. I measured, I have about 40 centimeters from the back. I'm supposed to be at 44 centimeters, so I only have a little bit further to go. So, and it's just stockinette, knit flat. So I thought I would just work away on it while I answer some questions. And then I'm wearing my sweater number 26 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I finished this earlier this year using La Droguerie Surnaturelle, which is a fingering weight yarn in the color Marine Bleu, and I held it double. And I love this sweater. I took Mary Jane for a walk this morning, and it was the perfect sweater to wear out and about. However, I am getting a little toasty in here, so I might take it off at some point and just have my t-shirt on. Also, since this is my first time recording here, I have no idea what the sound is gonna be like. I have my window open. Obviously, now I live in a city, so there are city sounds outside, but I need the window open so that I don't roast in this room. So apologies, I'll figure it out for later videos, but for now, this is what we're dealing with. I think that's enough of a preamble. I feel like I always have long preambles, I'm sorry. I got a couple of questions for my knitting origin story, and I kind of feel like that's the perfect place to start. I imagine, like a lot of us crafters, I was a pretty like crafty DIY kid. I was really into cross stitch when I was a kid. Very cool when you're in second grade, obviously. Like cross stitch and needlepoint, just lots of like arts and crafts. I just liked crafting, working with my hands to create something. So I feel like that carried over into adulthood. I kind of didn't have a craft that I was really into. And then when, again, like a lot of us, when COVID happened, I didn't really have anything to do. I had recently graduated from like university, and so I didn't have any schoolwork. I hadn't started med school yet, and my friend had taught me to knit earlier in high school, like a garter stitch scarf. I made like a really ugly garter stitch scarf. So I knew the basics of like how to hold the needles and how to do a knit stitch. And I didn't have anything to do, and I was like, well, I should do something. And I decided to start knitting. And I started with a blanket that never came to be. I was just knitting a bunch of garter stitch squares. in the hopes of seaming them together to make a blanket. And I knit a ton of them, like probably 100 garter stitch squares. And then I started to seam them together and I was like, this sucks. And I decided I didn't want to seam them together. So I unraveled all of them. And I have some of the yarn still left over, but that's not part of the story. So doing a bunch of garter stitch squares was a really great way to start off. And then I just one day was like, I want to make a sweater. So I made a sweater and I hated it. I wore it once. I hated it. I don't even know if I have a picture of it because I hated it. And then I made my friend a sweater and that was cute. That was actually a cute sweater. And then I unraveled my first sweater, made a second sweater that I loved. And then I just kept knitting and kept getting better. And I never really gave it up, even starting med school, even though a lot of people told me that I was gonna have to give it up. They were wrong. I did not, and I kept knitting, and now it's my favorite thing to do. So that is my knitting origin story. I feel like it's so similar to so many other people's. I also don't have any family members that knit. I don't really have any. No, I do have friends that knit. I have friends that knit. I have some med school friends that knit, and then a couple of my college friends have recently started knitting. One needs a lot of encouragement. I don't think she watches my YouTubes, but she needs a lot of, she's really trying hard and she wants to give up, and I really don't want her to give up. So send her some good vibes, some good knitting vibes, because she needs to push through so that we can talk about knitting together. Yeah, shockingly similar to a lot of other people's knitting origin stories. Nothing revolutionary, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like we all kind of discovered it. A lot of us discovered it around the same time for similar reasons, and it's been incredible. Incredible throughout med school for my mental health, and it's just really fun to make things. I love it. And then, okay. Oh, this was a fun question. I love this question. Two similar questions. Are there any, let's see, let me pull this up. Are there any knitting techniques you'd like to try but feel too daunted by? And then a question that I'll also answer at the same time, a thing you love the look of but are scared to knit. Okay, so the answer to, what is it? Knitting techniques I want to try but feel too daunted by, stranded color work terrifies me. And the thing that I want to make, what was it? That I love the look of but I'm scared to knit is the Ovis sweater by Sasky & Co. She was previously known as the Petite Knitter on Instagram and Ravelry and everything. I love this jumper. I'll obviously include a picture of it. It's gorgeous with like the little sheeps, and it's very like the like round yoke. I love the look of it. Stranded color work terrifies me. I have made stranded colorwork mittens before. I actually made the Ovis mittens, like the same type of pattern, but just mittens. I made those. I love them. However, it took probably 4 tries to get my tension right when working the little sheeps at the bottom. And I'm still not thrilled with the tension and how they look. So the thought of doing a whole sweater, being worried about tension and floats and puckering stitches, terrifies me. Terrifies me. I would love to make it someday. I just don't know if I have it in me to be worried about tension. I'm able to do the stranded color work. I can hold like the two yarns at the same time and do like continental knitting and then English I can't remember. I'm physically able to do it, but maintaining the tension is so difficult, and I don't want to put all this work into making a sweater and then block it and look at it and be like, it's all puckering, it looks terrible, I hate it. So that answers that. Along the lines, I love this. What's your dream project to knit? There's obviously projects that I want to make, like sweaters, and there's a vest that I'm really looking at that I love, but those aren't like, dream implies like a little bit of inachievability. And so there's this project I've had in my mind for probably about a year now, and I'm nowhere close to starting it, making moves on it. It's the Pressed Flowers shawl by, I didn't write down who it was by. Amy Christopherson, I think. Christophers, something like that. The pressed flowers shawl. The reason I'm calling this a dream is because I have a vision. I have a vision for it. I want it to look a very certain way and be certain colors and a certain textured feel. I want it to be like a spring summer shawl. So I want it to be kind of like maybe cotton, merino, linen, silk blend-ish, where it can provide some warmth, but it's not warm. And I want it to be certain colors. I have a vision. I want the flowers to be this like orange creamsicle-y color that has like bright orange and some creamy orange. A little more than heathered, a little more than tonal, a little bit of variation, but nothing crazy. And then I want the base to be a cream, like a yellow cream, like the color of like hand-churned homemade ice cream, that kind of color, like somewhere between a butter yellow and a cream with maybe a little bit of orange in it with green like flecks. I don't want it to be a green base, I want green flecks. So my whole thing is I haven't been able to find yarn. I haven't gone aggressively looking for yarn because I don't want to force it. I don't want to be like, well, of all of these 10 color options, this is the one I like the most. No, I'm gonna see yarn one day probably from an indie dyer. I'm gonna see yarn and be like, that's it, that's perfect. I need that. And then I'll buy it. But until then, it will remain a dream in my mind. But I believe it's all over mosaic knitting. That doesn't intimidate me like the stranded color work. I don't know why. Oh, this one. What's your all-time favorite pattern? I started to make a list. And then I think the follow-up question is my favorite thing I've ever knitted myself and my most loved garment. In terms of the pattern, like the written pattern itself, I've never read a pattern that's more detailed, more well thought out than the Melodies top, which I knit last summer. Just so well thought out. I love the all the options for modifications, the ability to customize it for yourself. It's just very, very well thought out, and I have never appreciated a pattern quite like I've appreciated that pattern. It's an expensive pattern, but well worth the money. I don't necessarily know that I enjoyed knitting it. I like the finished object. It's not my favorite thing that I've ever made, but the pattern, I appreciate the work, effort, design more than any other pattern that I've ever purchased or looked at in my life. Also, I live right across the street from a school, and I think school is being let out right around now. So I'm really sorry if you can hear them. Plus, it's Friday. They're going to be extra rowdy. Anyways, favorite thing that I've ever knitted myself / most loved garment. I feel like, okay. I myself am skeptical. I'm skeptical of myself, and I'm skeptical of others when they have recently finished, and when I have recently finished a garment, and I'm like, I love this so much. This is one of my favorite things, because I feel like a lot of us have knitted things, we finish them, and we love them, we wear them a lot, and then once the novelty has worn off, I don't reach for it as much. So that's why I'm hesitant to answer this. That's my preface, so I have two answers. My favorite thing I've ever made, I think it might be the sweater that I'm wearing, my sweater number 26. I recently finished this. I think I finished it in March. I finished it like the day before match day. And I had a vision for the sweater and then fit the sweater like sort of around my vision, instead of seeing a sweater being like, oh my God, that's so cute, I want to make it. I bought this yarn in France when I went to France with my mom in December. So the yarn is sentimental, and the yarn is super soft, and I swatched with the yarn and then picked a sweater based on that. And I wanted it to be kind of a structured French chic looking sweater. And I feel like this kind of fits it. The neck detail, I love it. I feel like it's so like, I don't know. This is one of my most complimented sweaters, and the one that people are like, I didn't know you made that. I had absolutely no idea you made that. Even people that know that I knit are like, I didn't know that you made that. It looks store-bought. So I feel like it's my one of my best looking garments, and then I reach for it all the time. I also feel like I struggle a lot with how long to make my sweaters. It's so hard to know sometimes before you block it how much it's gonna grow. Also, sorry if I'm looking down more. I'm purling now, and that requires a little bit more concentration than knitting. But you don't know how much it's gonna grow, and I just feel like this is quite literally the perfect length. It's not too cropped, but I never need to tuck it into anything. I don't ever need to do a French tuck. I love this. It's perfect. It's exactly what I was envisioning when I bought this yarn, and I wear it all the time. That's kind of my most favorite. However, my other answer is my field day cardigan by Ozetta. I have no idea where it is. I'm still unpacking. I have no idea where a lot of my stuff is. I actually wanted to record this video a couple of days ago, but I couldn't find my tripod. And I feel like that's the most frustrating, not the most frustrating, one of the most frustrating things about moving is you look at something, you're looking for something, and I'm like, I know I saw it. I know I saw my tripod. I just can't remember where it is. I know I packed it, and I'm pretty sure I saw it since opening boxes in New York. I just can't remember where it is. Anyways, getting back to it, my field day cardigan by Ozetta, I talked about this all the time. I knit this, I finished it my first year of med school, so almost like over 4 years ago, and I wear it all the time. My friends borrow it. When I pack it on girl trips, inevitably someone wears it. It's a fan favorite by me, by everyone. It's such a basic staple. And then in addition, it's like my most sentimental garment, I would say, because it's my first thing that I made that felt like a big girl knit that I was like truly happy with. It's not perfect, obviously, there's flaws in it. I picked up stitches for the shoulder, and I had no idea how to pick up stitches for a shoulder. So the pickup, it looks terrible, but I still love it. I wear it all the time. It's versatile. So that definitely, in terms of garments that I've made, that definitely has the most wears. Hands out, I don't even think it's close. That's my other one. Oh, will there be an Only Murders season 2 and 3 and 4 pattern roundup video? Yes, there will be, I promise. I started working on season 2. I literally have a folder, like I have all the patterns picked out and cataloged. It was just a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. That video definitely was the most work I've put into any video, and I just lost motivation for it, I'm not gonna lie. And then Only Murders in the Building it's not like a spring summer thing for me, so maybe every fall there will be an Only Murders pattern roundup. But I've already done the work for it, I promise. I just gotta finish doing the work and then film it. Oh, my favorite yarns. That was it. Just his favorite yarns, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I mean, I feel like it's pretty, if you watch any videos, you're hard pressed to find a video, like a knitting video, where I don't talk about knitting for Olive at all. I love the heavy merino. It's one of my favorite yarn for like winter and fall and then spring. And then I love the merino for, I guess, like a lighter spring and fall garment. I really want to hold the Knitting for Olive merino double. Crazy, right? That's so crazy. I've never done that before, and I really want to at some point in the future. We'll see. I'm using the Knitting for Olive cotton merino in a couple of projects this upcoming, like I literally just swatched for them. So I'm using that in a couple of projects. Haven't used the cotton merino before, but I'm very, very excited to. And then the soft silk mohair is my favorite mohair I've worked with in terms of, like, it feels great, and then the cost, I think it's really a really good quality for the cost, and the color section is great. So I'm very hesitant to branch out and try other mohairs because I think that one is perfect. And then the pure silk is incredible as well. I haven't tried the other ones, but I love knitting. I love knitting for Olive, my favorite yarns. Oh my God. I think I trapped one of the cats in the closet. That's gotta be Ginger, right? Ginger, you in the closet? Oh, I'm so sorry, Ginger. I'm sorry, baby. I was looking for my tripod and she got caught in the closet. I know, I'm sorry. That's so on brand for her. It happens all the time. Let's see. Oh, and then another yarn that I love is the Wool of the Andes. Oh yeah, Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in just the regular worsted and then the tweed. Oh, hi Ginger. They're very cost effective. They're really good wool yarns, and great colors. Also, something about all of the yarn that I've mentioned, I've knit with them for a while. I have some sweaters in both of them that I've had for years, and I feel like they wear super, super, super well. Like minimal pilling, I guess, yeah, that's it. Just minimal pilling, and especially the Wool of the Andes becomes softer over time. I guess like a lot of wools, but the Wool of the Andes, I love. Try not to talk for too long. I'm just so long-winded. It's hard for me to be concise when talking about something that I'm passionate about and not trying to relay information. Favorite weight of yarn to use and favorite garment to make. That was one question. It was a double. It was a twofer. I thought about this a lot because I was like, what is my favorite yarn weight to use? And I settled on DK. This is a DK weight sweater. I feel like I like worsted. I use a lot of worsted weight. However, I feel like DK weight is just, it's tiny stitches enough. It's a friggin' school bus. It's tiny enough that it's not like, it doesn't look like a bulky-ish knit, and it doesn't take forever. I love the look of a fingering weight project. It looks so like delicate and sleek, but it takes so long. Oh my God. But DK doesn't take as long and you still get that kind of delicate look. And my favorite types of garments to make, I love making vests and tank tops. Hands down my favorite. Because you get all of the gratification of knitting a sweater when you finish it and you have something to wear on yourself and to style, but you have none of the sleeves, none of the foolishness of sleeves. So I love a tank top and a vest, hands down, favorite things. Oh, this was like, how do you give washing instructions when you gift knit something? Because I do gift knit a lot. And I bought, earlier this year, I bought some labels. I cannot find them. When I find them, I'll include a picture and I will link where I bought them on Etsy below. But the labels say, knit with love, hand wash only, lay flat to dry. However, I hate putting labels into garments. I don't feel like they ever look good. So I've yet to gift anyone a garment with the label in it, like in the garment. Usually I just gift it with the label. And then I put the fear of God into them that if they put it in the washer or the dryer, that it will shrink and felt and they will never be able to wear it again. And then I will never make them anything again. So that's usually what I do. And then letting people know, like people, right, it's not like a knitted garment, it's not like a t-shirt that you have to wash it every time after you use it. Like your sweaters, if you're wearing them a lot, I feel like wash them like once a year, if that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know that I've ever washed a sweater again, like reblocked a sweater, washed it. When it smells bad, that's when I wash it. And if it doesn't smell bad, then that's good. So just giving people a heads up that it's not like a normal garment that you have to wash after every wear. But yeah, the fear of God, so far it works well. No one's told me that they've ruined any of my garments that I've gifted them, but then again, like, would they be inclined to tell me? Probably not. And then, funny, what is your number one pattern pet peeve? Like, if you see it, you won't knit the pattern. I made a whole video about this, my 10 knitting pet peeves. That being said, I'm pretty driven by a finished object, like a finished garment. If I see a garment that I like, I'm pretty motivated to knit it, and there's not a lot that can deter me from knitting it. I've like been knitting patterns that have errors, that have like wording issues, things I don't like about the patterns, and I've pushed through and finished the pattern and made the garment and just like, no, I'm not making that again. So there's nothing that when I see it, I'm like, absolutely not, I'm not making it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, never. Because I'm pretty motivated by the finished pattern. The caveat being seaming. I try to avoid seaming a pattern as much as possible. I don't enjoy it. My seaming skills have gotten a lot better as the years have gone on, but I knit. I don't sew things together. Oh, hi little cat. All right, this is good timing because now we're transitioning to more personal things. And someone said, Polite request for Mary Jane, my dog. Mary Jane Lowdown. Favorite treats, likes, dislikes, favorite toy backstory, and same for the cats. And Ginger's here. Ginger's one of the cats. Here, Ginger, say hello. Hello. Say meow meow. Say meow. This is Ginger. Let's see, show them. Nope. Show them how long you are. This is Ginger. She's long. She's good cat. Okay. I know. Ginger is an excellent cat. I love her. Well, obviously I love all my pets. My fiance and I got her in 2020. We had just moved in together, and for whatever reason we decided to get some cats, even though we already had a cat and a dog. So we got a bonded pair, and Ginger was one of them. And we got her sister Hazel as well, and they were great little cats. And sadly, Hazel died during my first year of medical school. It was very sad. We don't know what happened. She just up and died. Very sad. But Ginger's still around. She's a very good cat. She's very, very friendly. She does have like a weird kind of eye thing. I think this is just my guess, my medical guess. When all mammals are in utero, you have little films over your eye. Well, at least cats and humans. I haven't looked into other animals because I just study humans. Kate from the Woolly Vet, if you're watching, please let me know. I love Kate. I'll link her channel below. I love her. She's a vet. Kate, let me know, please. Little mammals, I'm just gonna generalize. They have, like, we all have membranes over our eyes in utero, and then they slowly dissolve throughout utero, and then dissolve like once you're birthed. And I suspect that one of hers did not fully dissolve. So she has like a weird kind of bug eye. She's not missing an eye, but it's kind of a weird membrane over her eye that persisted. So it looks like she's got only one eye. But Ginger's an excellent cat. She's very friendly. She's very cuddly. Even though she only got one eye, she can spot a bug from like across the room. Great instincts. She's a great little cat. We love her. Someone wanted to see you on YouTube, so you have to come let me talk about you. I know. Ginger, how old is Ginger? Ginger's, I think, what is it, 2025? I think she's 4. Oh, there's Agnes. I don't know if you can see her. This is Agnes. I'll hold her up later. This is Agnes, my old lady. Agnes is like 12, we think, 12 or 13. My college roommates and I got her in undergrad. How old was I when we got her? I think we were 20 when we got her, so I've had her for a while now. I know. Agnes is a beautiful, beautiful cat. She is an absolute bitch. She's an absolute brat. She's very, very cat-like in the sense of like, leave me alone. Actually, no, she loves humans. She loves humans. She does not like other pets. She does not like other cats. So that's why it's like when my fiance and I were like, oh my God, let's get more cats. Like, why? Like, she hated them. She's still like so on Ginger. I know. And she's a very, very good cat. Truly all she wants to do is just, oh my God, she's shedding so much. I gotta brush you later. Truly all she wants to do is just eat and sleep. And occasionally look out the window, and she loves playing with a shoestring and yarn, and that's about it. She's been with my mom for the past year. My mom has been housing her. I know. For the past year, she's been with my mom because I've been traveling all around, and she's quite attached to me. She likes my fiance all right, but she does get a little sad when there are other animals around and I'm not there. So my mom, who does not have any pets, kept her for the year kindly, and now she's back. Okay, now it's time. I know, look at you. Look at you. Look at you. She's fat. She's a fat cat. My mom was giving her fancy feasts like every other day. So she's gotten quite fat. And then, you guys know Mary. Here we go. And now we have Mary. Oh, hello. This is Mary Jane Watson, named after the Spider-Man character. And my fiance got her before we were dating. She just turned 7. Mary Jane is the best dog in the world, just like your dog. She's also the stinkiest dog in the world. She's very stinky little dog, but we love her so much. We have absolutely no idea what kind of dog she is. Poor Mary, she was about a year when he got her, And they think they found her just wandering around the streets. So she was a little street dog for the first, I think, 6 months of her life, and then she was in the shelter for 6 months. She doesn't remember that though, and now she's a little brat. Her favorite things include sniffing. We think she's some kind of hound. Our best guess is basset hound, pit bull. Because she's very short. I don't know that that comes across in camera. I'll include a picture. She's very, very short. She loves to sniff. We go on very long sniffing walks. It'll take us like 40 minutes to go a mile because she gets to sniff whatever she wants. It's her favorite thing to do. And she loves surveying. If you give her a yard, she'll just sit in it and look around. She loves running with other dogs. She gets very angry if we go to the dog park and there's dogs there and they don't want to play with her. She gets very angry. She'll scream at them. And she's very protective. Good luck breaking in to our apartment while she's here. She will scream. And she loves to burrow, as I'm sure you guys have seen. She'll frequently, we call it burrow, she'll frequently, her favorite way to relax is to just like burrow inside a blanket. And she sleeps like under the covers at night. She's my baby. I love this little dog so much. She's so cute. Okay, next. The pets. Oh, can you tell a little bit more about your personal life if you're okay with that? I'll share a little bit. Nothing crazy. A little anonymity is good for the soul. We already talked about my pets. I know. But I guess just some other things that I enjoy doing outside of knitting. I love working out. I love going to the gym and lifting weights. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm still trying to figure out my gym situation being in New York. There's some around, but I don't know how convenient it's going to be. I also don't know how much time I'm going to have to go to a gym, and they're all pretty expensive. Also, I love my plants, but this is Stassi in the background. If you remember her from last year, this is my Monstera. Hello, Mary. She's also been living with my fiance for the past year. He's been keeping most of my plants, and then some of my college friend has also been keeping my other plants. I have to go get them from her at some point because I've been moving around. So I love my plants. I love to cook. I love all things food related. I love eating out, trying new foods, and then I love cooking. My favorite thing to cook is vodka sauce. I can make a good vodka sauce in like 10 minutes. I could do it in my sleep. It's my favorite thing in the world. We make so much vodka sauce stuff. So I love vodka sauce. My favorite thing that we've made recently is a focaccia vodka sauce pizza. Delicious. My fiance also loves cooking. We love cooking together. It's like our favorite little date night thing to do is to cook. So I love cooking. And then, what are some other things? I love hanging out with my friends. And then another important thing to know about me is my favorite holiday is Halloween. I love Halloween. I love dressing up. I love a theme. I love an event that has a theme around it. And my favorite Halloween costume that I've done is a couple years ago, my fiance and I were from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was Avatar Aang, and he was Prince Zuko. I'll include a picture. We crushed it. It was perfect. Oh, another incredible question. If you could pick an animal to be your pet that's not a conventional pet, what would it be? A raccoon, hands down. Hands down. They're my favorite animals. I know some people have them as pets. I still wouldn't consider them a conventional pet. I love raccoons. They're so cute. Nocturnal. Oh, sorry, I feel like there's so much pet hair on me. They're nocturnal. They're sneaky. They're so cute. I love them. Oh, and then are there any surprising ways that knitting skills overlap with medicine skills? And I feel like just in general, the path towards mastering any craft is good for most careers. Like the ability to be really bad at something and then improve and see your mistakes and fix them or do better next time. Like I just feel like that builds a lot of resiliency. So I feel like that is just helpful in general. And then I talked about this a lot in my interviews, but my fine motor skills are like through the roof, especially with like with tools. Yeah, through the roof. So like stitching people up, like suturing, surgeon's knots, which you do in the operating room to end your stitches or just to tie things up. I feel like they're not difficult, but I feel like I caught on to them and was able to master them a little quicker. Because my fine motor skills are through the roof. I got a lot of questions like what specialty I'm doing, what I'm doing residency in, what I want to specialize in, what motivated me to do that. I don't think I'm going to share like specifically what specialty I'm doing. Just like I said, a little anonymity is good for the soul, good for the peace of mind. However, if you are like absolutely beside yourself dying to know what specialty I'm doing, DM me. I'm more than happy to talk about it in DMs if people are curious. If also you're in medicine and you just want to know, I'm more than happy to talk about it in DMs. I just don't want to really broadcast that to the world. I do want to keep my like knitting YouTube persona a little separate from my like work residency persona. I will say like something I was debating between specialties going into my 4th year, which was really scary. Not most people, I would say the good majority of people are pretty set on one specialty or another going into 4th year, and I was like heavily between two. And so the deciding factors for me picking my specialty, because I only applied to one specialty. I decided before applications were due what I wanted to do. I'm very happy with it, but things that that pushed me into it were, one, like working with my hands, because hi Agnes, I was between psychiatry and then the specialty that I chose, and psychiatry is very hands off, as you can imagine. And I didn't really think I was ready to give up like examining people, working with my hands, being on my feet and doing things. And then I enjoyed the lifestyle. Again, this is general stuff, but I enjoyed the lifestyle of my chosen specialty, and then I enjoyed the variety of things seen. I didn't want to close myself off and like specialize in one certain thing. I like that I'll be able to see a wide variety of patients and a wide variety of patient complaints in residency and throughout my career. So those were some deciding factors. And like I said, oh my God, is that the sun? Oh my God, it's been so rainy the past couple of days, and I think the sun is finally out. It means I have to take Mary on a walk after this. But yeah, like I said, if you're just beside yourself dying of curiosity to know what specialty I'm doing, DM me. But you have to let me know what specialty you think I'm doing before I'll tell you what I'm doing, because I'm always curious what vibe I give off. Let's see. Along those lines, do you have any knitting resolutions or goals going into intern year? And then similarly, what will your residency schedule be like, and how much time will you have to knit? All residencies are capped at 80-hour work weeks. It's generous, right? Crazy. And then New York State or New York City has increased time, like work hour restrictions. And then I think my specialty also falls into increased work hour restrictions. So I won't work like crazy amount. I think mine's more around like 70 is what my cap is, which is still a lot. But for those of you that don't know, in residency, you still do rotations, much like in 3rd and 4th year of medical school. The majority of your rotations, though, are in your chosen specialty. And then you do other rotations to supplement it. Usually your quote on-service rotations, so the rotations in your chosen specialty, are a little more chill because you know the people, it's your thing, it's what you're interested in, so it's what you do the most of, so you increasingly get more efficient and better at it. And then your off-service rotations, so the rotations in the specialty that's not your chosen specialty, usually those are a little bit more intense. Just the hours, you're kind of off your game. It's not necessarily what you want to be doing. I personally am not really looking forward to my off-service rotations, which is a good sign. It means I've chosen well in my specialty. But yeah, so I don't really know what my week to week will look like. I do hope to have obviously some knitting time, some time also to content create, but I don't know what that's going to look like yet. So I'm not holding myself to certain like standards in terms of like a posting timeline for content creation or knitting certain things. And then certain resolutions, goals, nothing like concrete, but I already decided I'm not going to be doing a ton of gift knitting this year. This past year and the year before, I did a lot of gift knitting. This year, not so much. at least for like Christmas or certain occasions. My college friends, I'm still slowly working my way through making them all something special. They'll continue to receive things, but again, not on like a crazy timeline. And then my fiance and my mom pretty much always get things. They can always, request things and I'll make them for them. But again, no crazy timelines. I'm pretty much just not gonna give myself a timeline for anything. And then pretty much no one's getting a Christmas knit this year. And then also managing my like queue and expectations for things that I want to make. The past pretty much year, I would say like my whole 4th year, I've been pretty like very like prolific. I've knit a ton. I've cranked out a ton. I've had a lot of time to knit and to content create, and that's incredible. That's what 4th year is for. Everyone says enjoy 4th year, and I feel like I've enjoyed it so far. I have a little bit more time left before I start residency, so I'm still just gonna enjoy it. But yeah, definitely just managing my queue, my expectations for what I can knit. You know, if I can knit like a garment or two and an accessory this fall, that's pretty good. That's fine. Yeah. So just managing my expectations, decreasing my gift knits. And this was probably my most asked question in a bunch of different variations, but the one comment, basically, how did I manage knitting with medical school and content creation with medical school? Just tips for studying and knitting, how to manage my time. A couple people said that they're also starting like a medical school, a professional school, a graduate school, and are concerned about time management. I have a lot to say about this. I'll try to keep it brief. I do feel pretty passionate, as I'm sure a lot of people do, specifically like medical students. I feel pretty passionate about wellness in medical school. I did write down, actually I'm gonna stop knitting I'm gonna pause the knitting for a minute so that I don't ramble as much. Because I wrote down notes so that I wouldn't talk for like an hour about this, but I do have a lot to say. I feel like, well, first in general, obviously this is only the first year that I've been doing YouTube. I started it towards the end of my 3rd year and carried it through obviously this whole 4th year. And then for those that don't, med school in the US, most med schools are 4 years, and then you do residency. So I'm at the end of med school. The first 2 years are basically just classroom, where you are just in the classroom studying, learning how to do physical exams on your classmates, and then 3rd year you do standard rotations, and then 4th year you choose the rotations you want to do in your chosen specialty, and then most schools have mandated rotations you also have to do. So first 2 years are mostly classroom, second 2 years are mostly out and about learning, if that makes sense. My content creation is definitely a backseat. I've never had a posting schedule or anything like that. I don't at least until I'm done with residency, I don't think I'll ever have a posting schedule. That feels like a lot to manage. There's other things that like come first in my life outside of like YouTube, Instagram, like my knitting, for example. Like I'd rather knit than make a video. And I feel like there's a couple of like, so I feel like that kind of answers the content creation thing, is that it wasn't really a priority for me. And it's just like, I had some free time, like, and I kind of want to start a YouTube, like might as well. And then I turned out I like actually really enjoyed it. So I kept doing it. If I'd made a couple of videos and hated it, like I would have stopped, honestly. If you're on my Instagram, I post kind of sporadically. I'll go through months where I'll post like every other day, and then months where I won't post at all. So it's definitely like, if I'm feeling it, I'll do it. If I'm not feeling it, I won't do it. But I feel like my whole first semester of medical school, I struggled. Another school bus. My first semester of med school, I struggled a ton. I feel like I was studying all the time. And I wasn't doing that well in school. I passed, obviously, but I did not do well. I did not do well at all, which was fine. That didn't upset me, but I was working so hard and I was drained. So I went through kind of a reset after my first semester and made some changes accordingly that made med school so much better for me, and I did so much better the whole rest of med school. I've done pretty well outside of first semester. I feel like there were like two main changes that I made that I will outline in terms of how I managed, like did time management. With the overarching reminder for all of us, even if, especially if you're in like if your job requires you to directly care for people, especially that, but just that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you yourself are drained, are unwell, you cannot take care of others. You cannot fulfill your requirements outside of yourself if you yourself are not well. So you need to take care of yourself, fill your cup, and then you can care for others and do what you need to do in your life. And then my two things that I decided to do, three. I prioritized working out and cooking for myself and getting good sleep. Those came first. If I didn't study as much as I needed to that day, didn't matter. I was still getting 6.5 hours of sleep, period. If I wanted to go to the gym, I would go to the gym and I would study afterwards. Didn't matter. I would always do those three things, and that helped a lot. I also wouldn't mix fun and studying, which was a big thing. If there was a Formula One race I wanted to watch, I feel like my first semester, I would watch Formula One, but I would be clicking through my flashcards the whole time. So I would be half paying attention to Formula One, half paying attention to my flashcards. And the race would end, and then I would be like, oh my God, I didn't get any flashcards done. I didn't get hardly any studying done. And then I also didn't enjoy the race, and I wasn't like relaxed. I didn't like recover emotionally from studying. You know what I mean? I didn't have any fun. Same with any other like TV show that I was watching. If I tried to study and watch something on the TV, study while at a coffee shop with a friend, I wouldn't get much done. And then I would come back and I would beat myself up. I was like, I didn't study that well. And then I also like didn't have fun. So I stopped doing that. If I wanted to watch something on TV, I would stop studying and I would watch something on TV. And then I had like study time and TV time. And it was so great because then I would take a break, feel refreshed, and then come back to studying and would study a lot better. The exception being I would do Anki, which is a flashcard system that's used widely by like graduate students. I would do Anki while knitting. I would put my keyboard, I had like a monitor and a keyboard. I would put my keyboard on the floor and I would use my toe to press the space button while knitting. So if I was just like going through cards, I would knit while doing Anki. And that did make studying a little more fun, but other than that, I wouldn't mix. And then, oh yeah, I wouldn't study after dinner. So that's kind of how I managed my like knitting time and maintaining my hobby, was that I would have dinner. It didn't matter what time dinner was. Sometimes dinner would be at 10 p.m. Sometimes dinner would be at 7 p.m. But I would make myself dinner, heat up leftovers, order out, whatever it was. And I would have dinner and I would not go back to studying after dinner. So I like fully enjoyed dinner. I would watch something on TV and knit, and that really helped. I hope that was helpful for those that were asking about it, for those that are nervous about starting school and maintaining your hobby. People were really, really negative when I was starting med school. Really negative, like, oh, you're not gonna be able to keep knitting, you're not gonna be able to keep doing this. And I really like, resent's not the right word. I hate that. I hate that you start school and the expectation is that everything else in your life takes a backseat. And for some people that's true, and it is kind of sad to watch when you have a friend that has a job and that takes priority in their life, and I don't know, you just kind of watch life like drain out of them. Do you know what I mean? So I feel confident I'll be able to maintain knitting and keep doing things in my life outside of the hospital and residency. So yeah, I feel like that's all I want to say. Like I said, I feel like I could make a whole video about it. And if anybody has any additional questions about it, please feel free to DM me in the comments. I'm more than happy to talk about it. I feel so passionately about this. If you can't tell, I don't know how long I spent talking about this, but I feel so passionately about it, that you need to enjoy your life first and foremost. And then that will make your job, your school, your studies, everything else better. Period. So how many hours do you spend knitting And do you find you can balance it well? I feel like same thing. I was thinking, I was like, how many hours a day do I spend knitting? I wrote down 1 to 4. Because it depends. There are some days where I won't knit at all. And there are some days where I'll have a day off and I don't want to do anything and I'll just truly knit like all day. I just feel like I knit mostly in front of the TV, like relaxing, watching stuff, watching sports, watching reality TV, Formula One, whatever. I'll just knit while watching. I'll take my knitting out sometimes with me, but I take my knitting everywhere with me. And if I get to knit and a situation presents itself, I knit. If I don't, and that's fine. So I feel like I spend at least like 30 minutes to an hour a day on most days. It's a bad day if I don't. It's a bad day if I don't work out, and it's a bad day if I don't knit. So yeah. And then just some random New York questions. Are there any knitting fiber stores you're looking to visit in New York? And then someone was like, oh, I'm visiting New York City from New Zealand. Do you have any yarn stores you recommend? I haven't been to a yarn store yet. I feel bad. But there were 3 that I wrote down, I think, and someone gave me a recommendation in my DMs, and I was scrolling through and I couldn't find it. I'm so mad I didn't write it down. But there were 3 that I looked up. There were 3 that I've been wanting to go to. There's Downtown Yarns in Manhattan in the East Village. Looks like they have a great selection, looks very cute. Brooklyn General Store in Cobble Hill, Red Hook area. I'm not sure which one it's technically in Brooklyn. I've ordered yarn a bunch of times online from them, and so I want to go see it in person. Only reason. And then Argyle Yarn Store in Park Slope in Brooklyn. It looks like they have really cute window displays from what I've seen online with yarn. They have really cute setup. So I'm excited to go to those 3. Those are the 3 that I want to go. Someone said, can you share about apartment hunting in New York City? It seems so daunting. It was very daunting, I will say, especially because we were doing it remotely. I went back to Alabama to live with my fiance for a bit before we moved up here. So I did all of it remotely. And I feel like it was a lot of reaching out to people and calling people on from like Street Easy or Zillow, which mostly Street Easy is the app website that people use to list apartments and find apartments. And it was just a lot of calling realtors on Street Easy, asking if the apartment was available. A lot of people want you to see apartments in person before, but I didn't want to make a trip back to see an apartment. And I heard that our plan was, we got this place not seeing it in person, but my fiance's sister lives in Brooklyn, so she was able to come see this place, which I'm so appreciative. And it also gave me great peace of mind because she was like, this is a great place, I would snatch it up if I were you. And so we did snatch it up. I heard some people say that you can basically plan out like 2 days to be in New York. You can see places, like just see them rapid fire in succession. So that was my plan if we didn't get a place virtually, but it worked out. It was just a lot of calling people and being like, hey, I'm looking at this place, is it still available? And then they would either say yes or no, like, you know, and then this place, it just like, things kept going well. And then she was like, you're first in line for this place. We were like, oh my God, we gotta get it. Like, that's crazy. So this was like the only place we applied to, which is kind of wild, but it was daunting at first, but then we got a place and it was like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad. Also, my fiance and I, no, I can say that. I don't have to jinx it. We have really good luck with apartments. I don't know what it is. We've had incredible luck with apartments, the 2 of us. Like I said, I don't know what it is. So the whole time we were looking, we were like, we have good luck with apartments. Like, I think we're going to be fine. And then turns out we were fine. This place is incredible. I love it. I would give you a tour, but it's all boxes and couch. So, and then last question, what are you most looking forward to doing in New York? And there's a couple of things. Nothing specific, because I've come here as just a tourist twice before because my fiance is from New York. So I've come here as a tourist outside of visiting him twice. So I feel like I've done touristy things like the MoMA and the Met, and I've been to Broadway shows, and I've been to, I've biked in Central Park. And so I feel like I've done a lot of the touristy things. And then my fiance is from like the surrounding area. So when we come for Christmas, Thanksgiving to visit his family, or just to visit his family, we would pop into the city for a day. So I've done a lot of touristy things, but there's a couple of things that I'm excited to do is like living here now. And one is take Mary Jane to some parks, because a lot of the parks are open for dogs. Well, you can have dogs there all the time, but they can be off leash until 9 a.m. at a lot of the parks. So we specifically chose this place because it was walking distance to a big park. And so we can take her and she can run around in the park. So we're very excited to do that. I'm so excited also just to eat, like to eat and drink and to have some really good food and some really good drinks. And I don't care how much it's gonna cost me, like I don't care. I'm excited to try like cool foods and just, I'm so excited to enjoy all of the cuisine here. Along that line, separately, I recently read an article. I can't remember where it's from. I'll try to find it and link it. It's behind a paywall, but I found it for free. I don't know if that link is still available. Either way, it's called It Must Be Nice to Be a West Village Girl. It's from The Cut, and it's by Brock Collier. Yeah. Anyway, so I read it, and it was interesting. And then I read a lot of the discourse on Reddit, because, I don't know, I feel like that's what my favorite thing to do is. And so it was good perspective being like, it was good perspective for being a transplant, because I'm obviously not from New York, and I thus am a transplant. So it was good to read and hear people's complaints. And one of the biggest things that I saw, I don't feel like I'm that way, but people come to New York to be influencers and to influence instead of being influenced by the culture, which I thought was a really interesting take. And I personally am excited to be influenced by the culture. One of my favorite things in New York to do is to walk around and see what people are wearing. I love looking at all the fashion in New York and getting fashion ideas and adapting to my surroundings. I've lived in a bunch of different places, actually. And it's fun to like adapt to your surroundings. So I'm really, really excited. Hi, Ginger. I'm sorry I locked you in the closet earlier. I know, I feel kind of bad about that. Little cat. Hi, baby. So I'm just excited to be influenced and to look at all the fashion, up my fashion game. Obviously, I feel like most knitters are fashionable. Like the creation of your own garments is very purposeful. Like what you create with your knitting is very purposeful. And so I'm excited. Was that everything? That was everything. That was the majority of the questions. I don't know how long this is going to be. Oh, sorry. I think it might actually be long. I got 3 rows done on my sole top. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Happy knitting. Bye.